Funny you should say that. I woke up one night and my brother was climbing. We used to have an attic over the 3 bedrooms, and we used to climb up. The door had squares, so we used to climb up the door to get into the attic. But that's where the toys were, hidden away. And I remember one night waking up, and there was like a window at the top of the bedroom door, and I saw him climbing. I'm like, what's he doing? And then I woke up and I called him, and he came in. He said, "Go back to sleep. You have to go sleep. Santi is coming." And then another night, I remember being younger, and I woke up and somebody brought me downstairs, and I just vaguely remember, it was like a dream, seeing all these toys out. And they just put me back up to bed. But yeah, they kept the secret well.
You did, yeah. So how would it start? What would be the build-up? Would there be a lot of cooking or?
Yes, a lot of cooking. We'd get up, we usually go to Mass Christmas morning as a family, go to Mass and then come back, and we'd have dinner early, but in the early afternoon we'd all have dinner, and then we'd open presents. And
what would you have for dinner? What would be a typical?
Dinner would be turkey and ham, mashed potatoes and vegetables, lots of vegetables.
And would it be
especially sprouts, my favourite.
Sprouts? And
Yeah.
would it be just your immediate family, or would
Yes.
your grandparents come too?
No, just immediate family.
Okay, yeah. And you opened up your Christmas presents in the morning?
Yeah.
Did you have Christmas stockings?
Not when I was younger, but when I got a bit older, yeah, they had stockings.
And how would you have decorated the house for Christmas?
Christmas tree, lots of tinsel and decorations, and just all over the house. But we decorate the ceilings a lot.
With what?
Like tinsel, like tinsel, but you would actually pin it from the corner to the middle, and it'd come from each corner.
Like a garland?
Yes, kind of like that.
Oh.
But I guess people don't do that anymore.
Yeah. So that was a big event in the house. It was
Yes.
a lot of preparation, get ready for something like that.
And then we'd probably get a lot of visitors, because a lot of people were off school and off work, so people would come to visit cousins and aunts and uncles. So it was fun.
And how about the day after Stephen's Day? Did you have any special traditions then?
Stephen's Day? No, just as I said, family getting together.
Yes, so there wasn't, the Rands weren't big there, or mummers or anything like that?
No.
Okay, all right. Music was obviously a big part of your life. Was it a big part of, was that a family
Yes.
custom? Everybody in your family was musical?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Your parents
Very.
and your grandparents?
I never actually see them play anything, but I think they sang. But my father learned violin when he was young, and gave that up. But he could sing. My mother sang, and we all sing, but not that all my brothers and sisters don't sing in public, but they can sing.
Yeah.
And usually when we get together, it really happens. It goes that way.
Goes
You
right.
start, and you have to sing a song.
Everybody has to have a part piece. Huh?
Definitely.
Yeah. And do you find that the songs they sing are the ones that they sang when you were younger? Or
Yes.
It goes back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your party piece? What was your party
My
song?
party piece was, I never will marry. I'll be no man's wife.
Can you sing a little bit right now?
Don't ask me why. I was singing that from when I was 6. But yeah, it kind of went, I never will marry. I'll be no man's wife. I intend to stay single for the rest of my life. So I guess Jimmy talked me out of that one.
I guess he did.
He did.
So it was just it was just something that was a normal thing that happened in the house all the time. People were singing and.
Yes, and because there was a lot of us, there always seemed to be a crowd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I just say to my mother, I love a crowd around me. Said, I wonder why. I'm used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and I like being with people. I'm like a people magnet. I like being around people.
And now you played what instrument? You played a drum in a pipe band, but
In a pipe band, just
Yeah.
But that was it. I never played.
You were never.
Sometimes accordion would come out, and we'd play a little of that, but not a lot.
Okay.
We weren't taught.
But now you play in a band with your brother.
Playing a band with my brother, my older brother, Con, and we call it Camac because my grandmother lived in Bluebell in Dublin, and her street name was Kamak Park, so that's why. And the Kamak River flowed behind her house, and that's why we call the band Kamak, just to
I wondered where it had come from.
have that bit of history.
Yes, that's nice. That's very nice.
So that's where I
Were
come
you
from.
especially close to that grandmother?
Yes, and that's my grandmother. She was born in 1897, and she died in 2001.
The one that we were talking about just outside there, she was over 100 years of age.
Yes,
Yeah.
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 I can't believe she lived through those 3 eras.
I know. That must have been amazing. Did she tell you lots of stories? Did you have?
I think she told my older sister Mary and Fran, not me particularly. I think she told them stories.
Yeah. Must have been an amazing thing to live through that, like
Yes, I mean,
periods of
no
time.
electricity, and then coming into
Yeah.
automobiles.
Yeah. Now you had electricity all of your life.
Yes, we had.
Television, radios, and things like that were just a normal part of your life, right? Yeah. Okay. You also there's a fellow down here at the club that you knew as a child, Liam Murray. Tell me just anything about that.
We used to pal. My friend Teresa Hickey, and myself used to pal with Liam, and we just hung out together. Yeah. We had a good time. I think he had the hots for Teresa, not me. But he just lived on the next street, and it was amazing that I come here and he's here. That was amazing.
Was it a surprise you didn't know?
Well, my sisters had known he was here, so.
Okay,
But I didn't. When I was in Ireland, I didn't know till they told me, and I was shocked, but
I guess so.
pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. So now Gaelic was not spoken in your home.
No.
Particularly. Did you adopt any kind of Irish saying, bits of the Gaelic that you use?
Only sometimes when we're joking, we say, I need to have a fuckle in your clothes, which is a word in your ear. But it sounds worse than it is. Some people are. But usually we say that.
All right. How did you meet Jimmy?
I met Jimmy, I worked in a store after school, and I met Jimmy. He used to come in, and that's how I met him.
And what kind of store was it?
Like a newsagent's.
All right, okay.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And was he from the same area?
Yes, a couple of streets up.
And yet you didn't really know him?
No, I just knew him from coming into the store.
Would he have gone to the same high school that you went to?
No.
No.
Because we went to a girls'.
Oh, you went to all-girls school all through your whole career?
Apart from the last year, that was mixed. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And did you court and marry there in Ireland?
Yes. Yeah. We did. I met him when I was 15.
15.
And he was 16. And then we married when we were 19, and been married now 23 years. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So if I would ask you if you dated, I guess you dated pretty much your husband, right?
Yep. That was about it.
Okay. And your children? You have children?
Have Alan, who's 22, and Jennifer is 20.
Right.
And they were 13 and 15 when we moved here.
Right. So they both were born and brought up in Ireland to that point. Yeah.
Right.
Talk to me a little bit about Alan.
Alan is Alan actually joined the Army Reserves and just spent a year in Iraq, in Baghdad and on the outskirts of Baghdad, and he's back now for a little while. I wish it was for good, but I think he's going again. I'm not too sure where, probably Afghanistan or Croatia. But he just adapted to that army lifestyle so well. He loves it, and he knows that's his job, and I think he's doing a pretty good job.
That's good. And he's married.
And he's married recently in June. He got married to Yolanda, and who I love.
Yes.
And they're doing pretty good.
Couldn't have picked a better daughter-in-law.
Yeah, exactly.
And now with Jennifer, what's Jennifer up to?
Jennifer's working. It's the American dream. And she's going to college, going back to Housatonic at the end of August. So she's doing good.
I'm sure it was an adjustment for you to make coming here, but what kind of an adjustment was it for them?
Very, very big adjustment. Because my mother passed away suddenly 2 months before we moved here. And Jimmy's father was 58 the year before, and he passed away from cancer. So they were the eldest grandchildren. So that was a very big loss in a year. and then to leave all their friends, it was a very big adjustment for them. And it took a while for each of us to settle down, the four of us. So.
Yeah. I can well imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, how important was the church community in your life?
Very important. Between school and parents, it was very important. You had to go to Mass, even though sometimes you didn't want to go. You were told to go and you went. And I mean, it's in school, the religion, you know, you did catechism, as we used to call it, every day, you know, and you had to go. And then when I got older, I kind of broke away from it. I didn't want to go. But now I've gotten back to where.
Did you ever consider becoming a sister, a nun?
No.
That was never a part of your...
Never.
Never.
Although my father did go to be a priest for 4 years out of the 6 years you normally do before he came out and met my mother. And
Really?
yes.
That's very interesting. Do you have any of your brothers and sisters in a religious order of any kind?
No.
No. Okay. Now, when you were involved in the church, you did your first Holy Communion and your confirmation. Was there any kind of stories involved with those, or was it just another day in the life?
No, just another day.
Mm-hmm. How about missions? Did missions ever come
into the school, I think, but that was it.
Yeah. Okay.
Not into the houses.
All right. How about Stations of the Cross? Did they come to? I know in the country the priest would go and do mass. Do you have that in the cities too?
No, not that I can remember. Maybe before they did. I know they had this thing where they had a statue of Our Lady, and they used to do that thing in May. I guess May is the month of Our Lady, and they used to bring it to the houses. So one house would have it for a week, and another you'd pass this statue around the houses.
Oh, really?
I just vaguely remember that. So I don't know really
So
the background history of that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. How about rosary? Was rosary something that was the rosary said commonly in your house?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, of course, you'd have 6 o'clock, you'd have the Angelus. So if you
Talk
had the
about
telly on,
Angelus, yeah.
you'd have the Angelus.
Yeah.
You just hear the bell and you're supposed to, be quiet.
Yeah. Doesn't the Angelus ring 3 times during the day?
For me, I just remember 6 o'clock, but maybe it did at 12, maybe too. But yeah, it was quiet time then.
Yeah. And would that be the signal that you would start the rosary or anything? Did it have any connection?
I didn't, but I think the older generation used to do it then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How about now? Here, St. Patrick's Day is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
How about when you were growing up in Dublin? Big thing over there now.
Big.
Dublin.
You know, and of course, if you were involved in anything, you'd usually walk in the parade. It was funny, I always seemed to join these things after St. Patrick's Day, so I never actually got to walk in the parade. But usually, you know, you have a lot of Irish dancers, obviously, and pipe bands. They get involved in the parade. But yeah, we used to go into town, get the bus in early in the morning, and be in there early so you could have a good view and make sure you can see it. And usually it rained. But we still did it. Nothing was cancelled. We still did it. We had to do things.
Would that be the whole family would go to do something like that?
Probably not all of us.
Yeah.
When it came to me, you know, it was probably the younger ones.
Yeah. And when you got to be a teenager, would that be like a date? Something
I'd probably go with my friends or with Jimmy.
Yeah.
But then when I had my own children, I used to bring them. Yeah. So it was fun.
Has it grown a lot just over the years you've been watching?
Yes, definitely. Mm-hmm.
I'm so surprised when I see how big it is.
Right.
My gosh, it's really huge. How about Easter? What would have been happening around Easter time?
Easter, wear yellow.
Wear yellow.
Lots of yellow and brown. Easter was kind of like Christmas with the turkey and ham, and everybody come to eat and obviously go to mass. And that was a big family time too.
Mm. Yeah. Have eggs? Do you have
Easter eggs, big Easter eggs.
Oh, the ones in the
So when I came here, I'm like, where's the Easter eggs? And they're painting eggs. I'm like, no, I want a big chocolate Cadbury's Easter egg.
That's right.
Which I found here. So
you did find them.
Expensive, but I got them for the kids.
Yeah. How about when there was a death in the family? How was that? What were the customs around that in your family?
When there was a death in the family, what they used to do years ago actually was put a note on the door. So if people came to the door, they'd know there was a funeral going on. But then they stopped doing that, the reason being people would realise there's nobody in that house because they're all at a funeral, and they'd break into the house. So they stopped putting the notes on the door. But yeah, you would go to the removal, as we used to call it. So the coffin would be taken from the funeral parlour to the church, where it lay overnight, and then you'd have the funeral the next morning. And then you obviously all go to the church, and then you'd usually drive by that person's home, just sit there for a minute, and then drive to the graveyard. And
so there weren't, in your family, the custom of burying from the house was not something that happened in your
No, it did happen with Jimmy's father. I know it happened in the house because he was so sick. He was in the house, and they just buried him from there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's your favorite time of the year in Ireland?
In Ireland?
Yeah, what was your favorite time of the year?
Probably this. That's a good question. Probably Christmas, I think, because everybody gets together, and I like that. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's your first memory, if you think back? The first thing you remember?
Christmas?
No.
Oh, just anything?
Yeah.
I recall being in this, like a cast iron cot, and I must have been a year and a half or two. And I woke up, I was in my mother's bedroom, and I heard all these voices downstairs, and I felt, oh my God, I'm missing out. So I stood up, and I remember shaking the cot because it was so noisy. And somebody came up and got me.
Picked you up.
Somebody.
Already you wanted to be part of the crowd.
That's it.
And a cot is a crib.
A crib, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I thought. How about your favorite toy?
Favourite toy, I know, was a spinning top when I was really, really young. I had all these colours, and I must have been 4 or 5 when I had that. And then when I got older, a bike. I had this bike. And
Did you do a lot of bike riding?
Yes, I did. Like just around the area. Mm-hmm. But I did a lot when I was a teenager. A lot.
That was the best way to get her. Well, you were delivering things. Was that on a bicycle?
I was on a bicycle first, and then on the bicycle in Dublin city centre, and then the motorbike was all of Dublin. So it was great. Great to get to know the place.
Yes. How about birthdays? How would you celebrate a birthday? Did you have
birthdays? Yeah, we'd get cake and invite, probably, if it was my birthday, invite friends over. And I did the same for my kids. Invite friends over and have a little party. Yeah. So that was cool.
How aware were you of the troubles that were going on at the time when you were a child?
Aware to the point where you'd know what's going on, but so far removed from it. I never felt it was actually touching me personally. That